right, hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday night. It is Wednesday, April 26th. Had to look. 2023. We are going to be doing some cord cutting Q&A here. It's great to have everybody here. Thank you so much for making it. I really do appreciate everybody that comes. You know, we had a great turnout right at the start. Once again, if you're watching this on repeat, we've changed the time to 7 p.m. Eastern. I will keep these live on YouTube for people to watch on replay for now. But if you want to join us live, 7 p.m. Eastern. Lots happening in the world of cord cutting. Let's dive into it. I want to answer some questions. Couple big things happening. A lot of new YouTube TV news, new channels, new features on the way. DirecTV Stream. We haven't talked a whole lot about the fact that they're really now pushing just DirecTV rather through satellite or internet with the same plans and a whole lot more. Roku earnings. We learned that Roku makes about $40 per user per year in ads. So you think about that, they got $75 million or 70-some million active users. That's a lot of money. That's no wonder they sell their devices so cheap because I've said this forever, they're an advertising company. So let's talk about that and a whole lot more. So great to see so many people here. Dean, Chris, Mark, Jason, Andy, Ron, Brother John, Edward. They're flying by. It's so great to see all kinds of people here. All right. Luke, have you followed the news of Comic-Con? What are your thoughts on studios wanting to phase out straight to OTT releases to return to theatrical windows? You know, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think that's going to last. Warner Brothers Discovery came out this week and said that too. That, hey, we're not going to give up on the traditional release window. And some of what they say makes perfect sense because they want the advertising that comes from a traditional release, right? If you go into theaters, you get the pre-roll ads in theaters, you get theater companies paying money to help promote movies, etc. In the end, though, I still think that movie theaters, as we know it today, aren't going to last that long. We'll see how it plays out. But I do think we're years away from what we got used to during the pandemic, which was everything going straight to streaming because there was no movie theaters open. I do think, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out with it. G-Money, it's good to have you here. Sorry I missed you last week. He says, the things I do for Cord Cars News, raced home from work. I got here just in time. Well, I'm glad you made it. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. RG Zap, long time no talk. Good to see you back in the Q&As. Very sorry about what happened to those Buckeyes last November. My apologies. No, it's good to have you here. Joel, PBS was added to my Local Now app. Yes, Local Now is rolling out adding PBS stations out there. They are adding a ton of PBSs, like 200 some, that will be rolling out over the next few months. And eventually, I think most, if not all, PBS stations will be streaming for free live on the Local Now app. No donation needed, no bugging for donation. It's all there. Here's an interesting story. So Disney's adding the Spider-Man movies, or has added most of them, and some will still come, to Disney+. Now, Spider-Man's Marvel. Disney owns Marvel. But before Disney bought Marvel, Marvel had sold the rights for, I forget how long, to Sony for Spider-Man. So Sony temporarily owns the rights to do whatever they want with it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But Sony and Disney struck a deal, and what was hidden in that deal for Spider-Man, I talked a little bit about in the post, was that more Sony-owned movies would be coming to Disney+. Are we about to see Disney+ add a ton of non-Disney movies, non-Marvel movies from Sony? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right. Just switch to Philo TV. Philo is a great option. If you're not a sports fan, Philo has a ton of great content there with it. Yes. So, Ron, you said the new On is available from Walmart. Now, we know it's available in stores. Is it, can I order it online? Can I get delivery? I keep thinking I need to go to the store and get one. I haven't done it yet. Sean, how am I doing tonight? Tonight's been a great day. It's been a long day. It actually started this morning when I got to the office and my computer was dead. and had to rush back home and work from home the rest of the day because my computer dead at the office. I think the graphics card, the computer turns on boots, but nothing comes on it. It's actually a computer I've had for about 7 years. I bought that when I was in Texas running Core Cars News. It's the old home PC for Core Cars News. So I'm going to have to get a graphics card or maybe just get a new PC for in there. I don't know. I'll figure that out this weekend. I'll just work from home the next 2 days and then get that fixed and get into the office next week. Some cities have 2 PBSs. Will local now add all PBS stations? I believe so. There may be 1 or 2 that doesn't, but I can't promise in your area what's going to happen. They haven't actually released a list. I forget, it was like 225 PBS stations or whatever. There was 200 some PBS stations with that. Here's a great message. Yes, please definitely tune in at those times, 7 p.m. Eastern, just for yours, 4 p.m. Pacific. I know this is a little different than we did. And let's not spill my water. I know this is a little different. Let me put the water down before I spill it all over myself. But when I lived in Texas, I always did it at 7, which means after I hop off this, I'm able to go and jump in and help put the kids to bed and do all that stuff. When it's 8 to 9, it means my wife has put both kids to bed by herself. So adjusting this to 7 allows me to be done with this in time to go put the kids to bed and see the kids. Because also, it means today's a little shorter. I start work at 7 a.m. every day, Eastern. If I go to 9 p.m. Eastern, that's a long day on Wednesdays. Still going from 7 to 8 is a long day. So, yeah. Yeah, I got the new Unbox this Monday at, I don't know how to say it, but yes, the Unbox are available in stores right now if you are looking for that. All right. NYC, where I live, there are 3 PBS stations in my area. These stations are based in, so you live in a perfect spot between them. It was kind of funny when we were in Texas, based out of our Core Cars News Killeen office, the local PBS there shut down. They sold the over-the-air rights to part of the auction for 5G, and then they said it wasn't worth their time to change to a new one, and they decided to just not have one. And they decided that my market would now be the Austin market. The problem was the Austin's broadcast PBS station didn't reach all the ways to where I lived in Killeen, Texas. So we were out of luck. We just didn't have a PBS affiliate. Now with streaming, if you had like a service that carried it, like cable or DirecTV or something, or YouTube TV, but now with the streaming, people who live in those, because there's also a market in Michigan that does not have that. I think over Central Michigan, maybe somewhere in Michigan. So it's a great thing to see them streaming it for everybody, even if you can't get it with your antenna. Is there a list? Unfortunately, there's some websites that will claim to give you all, and I think they only, some may be good, but I've yet to find one that does a very good job for that. What I find is best for these kind of options is to ask, go on a Facebook group or go on the Nextdoor app and ask what people think of it or what people use in their area, get some recommendations. But don't forget about, if you live in rural areas, SpaceX is Starlink, Verizon, T-Mobile, and now AT&T in a few markets also offer 5G wireless home internet. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to shop around a little bit with that. I remember when you mentioned it on the data videos, it feels like big markets are the ones keeping PBS afloat. Small markets are definitely struggling. Well, the thing to remember is a lot of PBS stations are run by local colleges. So it's kind of a little bit the college. Is the college really invested in it or not? And some of that is size, right? If you live in a bigger market, there's more people more likely to donate than if you do in a smaller market. So there definitely is an issue there. And I think PBS really doesn't want to become a national service. They don't want to hey, everybody, this is the national feed of PBS. They definitely don't want that. But it'll be interesting to see how it all works out with it all. Hey, John, thanks for your support. I already recorded tomorrow's show. I actually record them now at the end of the day, work day for tomorrow. That's why sometimes if there's big breaking news first thing in the morning, it doesn't make it into the video because I record it the night before, so it goes live in the morning. Let me know. You guys like that, how I get those core cutting todays up first thing in the morning? Are you enjoying that? Do you like that with it? I used to do it more around lunchtime in the past, where I'll come and work all morning. Mornings are usually busy breaking news, and then I would record around 10, 11 p.m. Eastern and put it up around 11:30 to like 1, somewhere in there. Let me know what you think of having it this way, where I get up first thing in the morning. I love that. Luke, I use level news. Oh, hold on, my computer is freaking out. Luke, I use level news to watch News Nation. The website allows switching of resolution to allow for longer. Oh, cool. Do you like it? You're the first person I've ever known that subscribes to level news. It's kind of a new thing, new-ish. It's been around since late last year, but it offers access to live and on-demand news from including CNBC. Oh, is my audio not good? My computer did its little graphics card freak out thing when I was switching feeds. Let me know, is my audio fine? Is my audio? All right. I think that fixed it. I think what's happening is I'm just having bad computer luck recently. This computer's been dying for a while. I need to get some new computers. That's probably something I'm doing. All right. All right, let's try that again. One second, let me know. All right, let's try that again. All right, so I think I fixed the audio. Let me know if I have it fixed. Check Local Now, no PBS. So yes, with Local Now, PBS's stations are rolling out. So they're in a handful of markets. It seems like every day they're adding new PBSs. So if your PBS is not live yet on Local Now, they say it could be months until they're all live. So just hang in there with that all. If my audio freaks out, and what's happening here is for some reason, I sit behind 3 monitors. And I use I don't really have a graphics card that's meant to do that. So sometimes when I stop a video on one screen and I switch over to another screen or whatever, it acts weird and the screens go black for a second and come back up. And when I do that, for some reason, when I'm live streaming like this, it does screw up my microphone. All right, let's keep moving. If I didn't answer one of your questions, I know there was a lot of questions that came through with this, and I was busy fiddling with the volume and the microphone on all that. Let me know. Re-ask your question. I'll do my best to answer them all. But hey, I just put a link to the breakdown to the which is our second YouTube channel. This is the channel where I do general tech reviews. And if you could, we just crossed 18,000 subscribers over there. I hope by the end of May, I would love, it's probably really aggressive because we don't typically add more than 1,000 a month to that channel. But I would love to get it to 20,000 subscribers soon. If you're not a subscriber and you want my views on like all kinds of general technology things I review, I also do like how-to videos, like how to cancel Amazon Prime and get a refund, how to contact customer service on different companies, and review different things. Do me a favor. I'll put it in here one more time. Click on that link. Go subscribe over at Corecart or at the Breakdown with Luke. I appreciate it. We just crossed 18,000 subscribers today. I'm so excited. Thank you, everybody. We're getting close to 212,000 here. We only need 2,000 more people to have 100,000 followers on Facebook. And I think we need just like 2,000 to get 50,000 on Twitter. So thank you to everybody. Really, really appreciate it. All right. If I have to answer your question, leave me a comment again, re-ask it, and I'll do my best. All right. I got an outdoor antenna that's getting great signal. Yeah, outdoor antennas always better. Higher you can go on top of your roof is better too. Except for one, which even though the signal is great, that one channel breaks up severely. What can I do? A few things is look for where that channel is coming from. Is it coming from the south, north, east, west? Where's that tower? And you can use websites like antennaweb.org, I think it is, or just Google AntennaWeb, one word, and enter it there, and it will show you exactly where you. And you can use websites like antennaweb.org, I think it is, or just Google AntennaWeb, one word, and enter it there, and it will show you. All right, but yeah, so I don't know what's happening here. Let me make sure I'm still pulling from the right thing. But yeah, go into AntennaWeb and see where it is and try to direct your antenna in that direction. All right, we'll see if this helps with the volume on that all. LTE filters should help. You know, some people say they work great, some people say they don't work. It really depends on how everything goes. All right, we'll see. So hopefully that helps with that. All right. Sometimes I have to remember not everyone uses tech terms on a regular basis. This is very true. A lot, you know, one of my biggest complaints with cable TV marketing is a lot of people they use insider terms like VMPD to describe a live TV streaming service like YouTube TV. I think the term fast channels needs to die, and die fast and hard. It confuses people. When I ask people, like, do you know what's a fast channel when it comes to a streaming service? They're like, is it about cars? Is that like a sports racing channel? So yeah, definitely, it's definitely something that needs to go away. Just call it a free streaming service. Pluto TV is a free streaming service. YouTube TV, or it's not YouTube. YouTube is a free streaming service. Freevee, Sling TV, Free Stream, Crackle, the list goes on. Redbox, Local Now, Plex. Those are all just free streaming services. Don't call them anything else. Do I think Warner Brothers Discovery were? What are they signing the petition on? I'm assuming they don't like Max. I don't know. What are they signing a petition on? I'm kind of confused by this question. All right. How is the new Netflix $7 plan working out? It seems to be pretty well. They're getting a good amount of subscribers. They added some new features. It now comes with HD. It used to be only standard def. Now it comes with HD with that, which is a really cool feature there. So pretty nice with that. Richard, good to have you here. Don't worry. We only just recently started. Q&A's at dinner time. I do apologize about that. I know this is a little earlier. It's not ideal, but doing it at this time allows me to be done and go help put the kids to bed and all that, which I like. So I can be done here at 8 p.m. before my kids go to bed. All right. Is Dish Network just as expensive cable? Dish Network is cable. I mean, I consider satellite and cable just to be the two sides of one coin there. It is satellite, so it's available in areas where cable sometimes is not, but that's a cable service. Now, if you're talking about their Sling TV service, that's significantly cheaper. That's the streaming version. That's the cord cutting version. It's the OG. It's one of the first nationwide ones out there. So check that out. There is a Carol Burnett special on tonight on NBC. And I love Carol Burnett, and Pluto TV I think is doing something. A lot of different services are doing something for Carol Burnett tonight. So check that out. Why are people mad about the new name for HBO Max? It's just a name. I think a lot of people are concerned that because they're adding all the Discovery Plus content, that it will go up in price. That the name is just the first step. I don't think it will. When they raised the price of HBO Max earlier this year, they said it was in anticipation of this new service coming, and that's the reason they did it. So, here's the good news: is if you don't like the Discovery Plus stuff, just don't watch it. Any news about Blockbuster? Yeah, so this is kind of cool. Blockbuster's updated their website, and I have a theory. I'll explain about that. And because of that, a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, are they coming back?" Maybe. Dish owns Blockbuster. They've been using the Blockbuster social media for some time. I kind of wonder if there's just like some Dish PR person who's just bored at work and like, hey, I have the password for Blockbuster's Twitter account. Should I just go on there and have some fun with it? I mean, totally. I love it. If you're not following the Blockbuster social media accounts, their Twitter account's hilarious. When Netflix was unable to live stream that dating show reunion, Blockbuster went crazy on Twitter just trolling them over it. It was hilarious. But I don't really think it's coming back. It could, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Dish got hacked. Security breach, we call it. My apology. At the end of March, or beginning of March, February timeframe. And it took down a bunch of their websites. And I think it took down, I believe it may have taken down the Blockbuster website. And instead of rebuilding the Blockbuster website, they just kind of put up an image with some text on it in its place. And I wonder how much that has to do with what happened. It was really not intended to do anything more than, hey, we needed to restore the website because it got taken down. Here, let's go ahead and put this placeholder in there. But if I was Dish, I would bring Blockbuster back as a free ad-supported streaming service. I would take Sling TV free stream, rebrand it to Blockbuster, and release it on the market, and then use it like Paramount uses Pluto TV. Use it to promote Sling TV, right? That you can use this free service to drive direct subscriptions to Sling TV. A little harder for Sling. Paramount's got a little bit easier because they can do stuff like, for example, the new Star Trek Strange New World season's coming out. So Paramount is putting the last season up with the idea that people will get addicted to it for free on Paramount and then want to know how to subscribe to it or go subscribe to the Paramount Plus to get the new season. And if I was Dish, I think you could have snarky fun with the service and promoting it. There's a certain nostalgia now around Blockbuster. I think we all forget how much we hated Blockbuster back in the day. But there's a nostalgia around it, and they could cash in on that. So Dish, call me. Let me run it as a free ad-supported streaming service, and I think we could use that to drive subscribers. So yeah. I don't know. That's what's happening with Blockbuster. Richard says, one thing I've noticed about the ATSC 3.0 is the picture quality. You should notice better picture quality, but it should be even better soon. 4K is coming soon. They're currently not doing it at the moment, but they do think it's going to come. They do anticipate by the end of the year 4K streaming coming or over-the-air TV with the new ATSC 3.0 standard. What are you watching now that Picard is finished? I finished Last Chance U. I got way behind on that. Very good. I watched what was that PGA documentary on Netflix? That was the thing I blew through this weekend. Now I can't remember that. No, not the Full Swing. Full Swing. I want to say Swing. I'm glad I looked it up. Full Swing. If you love, just even if you're not a golf fan, Full Swing, very interesting. I blew through that again this weekend. But beyond that, I haven't looked. I got to find something new to watch now that it is the Picard song. I will say I rewatched that final episode of Picard twice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And if Paramount does not give us a show based on the ending of Picard, we totally protest. We march en masse at Paramount and let them hear it. All right. All right. It also helped the Captain Marvel 2019 film brought the nostalgia for Blockbuster into high gear since kids wanted to know what it was about. Yeah. It's funny how we hated Blockbuster. Blockbuster failed for a reason. And it really wasn't Dish's fault. Dish bought it on the downside really cheap, and they had some ideas about what they would do for it. And remember, Dish for a little while had a online video store for Blockbuster where you could rent movies and stuff like Fandango and all that. Which is funny. If you have an old Roku remote, you may find it with a Blockbuster button, but if you press that button now, it launches Sling TV with that. But yeah, nostalgia is a funny thing. We hated it then, but we love it now. Waiting for NBC local Tinga and PBS local member stations to switch to 3.0. Yeah, hopefully soon most stations will switch. It'll be interesting to see how long it really takes for 3.0 to fully roll out across the country. All right. Luke, what do you think of using Android cell phone as a free cable box and with live TV apps? Well, if you're using legal services, there's so many free ones. I mean, Pluto TV, Crackles, Redbox, Freevee, the Roku channel, and more are all great ones with that. So if you're using it for legal stuff, I think it's awesome. Bring back AOL Internet. How about bring back AOL Messenger? You know what, funny? Whenever I'm on Discord or anything, I'm always like, AOL and Yahoo totally should be dominating this, because Discord and all that, just like a upgraded version of Yahoo Messenger and AOL Instant Messenger. There is no reason why Slack and all these places are here now. They should be like Yahoo Messenger for business, because 90% of what they do is basically just what AOL Messenger and Yahoo Messenger. The problem with that is both companies let the product become stagnant, let the product not develop, and because of that, it allowed somebody to come in and offer something better. And what's funny, AOL Messenger with video calls, it had video calls. You used to, later on, you could do video calls through it. Again, I think they just mismanaged it. Too many companies get a successful product and dominate a market and then get lazy and stop developing. Yeah. All right, here's a good game that I love. Playing Mario Sunshine on the Nintendo Switch. Love it. Still works best with the GameCube controller, though, with that. Oh, do I have news for you? You can get a Hotmail account. Hotmail is still a thing. Anybody here still have a Hotmail account? I do not. I still have an old Yahoo email that I've had since 1998. It's my junk email account. When some service requires me to give them an email account now, that's the email I give, and I've had it since 1998 with it. All right, here's a big question of the day. What does everybody think of the new Super Mario Brothers movie? My daughter saw it, loved it. From a 10-year-old, highly recommend it. So here's something interesting. I haven't looked into a little bit of this. I've had a very busy day. But what do I think about Cartoon Network's news today that they bring back old cartoons for Max? So interesting thing about the viewership on Cartoon Network. A majority of it is now people 18 years old and older. And that's why you see things like Adult Swim coming early, Toonami, an older focused one, and more. Their audience for most kids networks is now 18 years or older, including, I think I saw Disney too with that. Don't comment on it, but I believe the Disney Channel also has that issue. And what we're seeing increasingly is that cable's age is going older. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more classic, like the 6 to 7 p.m. block, maybe more classic cartoons, whatever, more Adult Swim oriented. That's why they expanded it. But yeah, it does not surprise me at all that Cartoon Networks and others are expanding into classic shows, because that's who their audience is people for nostalgia, people who remember rushing home to watch the afternoon Toonami, to watch Gundam or something. Yeah. Out of demo is transmitting 3.0. Yeah, one of the markets, that's a market that went heavily into 3.0. It's two markets that I get in my area. Yeah, so I love 3.0. I really think it's a great way to do that for all of it. I do not see MLB Network return to YouTube TV. YouTube is going to do. Yeah, they're a little bit here's money. I think they want a lot of money, and YouTube TV is just not willing to pay it. And honestly, without the RSNs, they're kind of like, hey, probably if people are hardcore fans here, they're probably not watching that. But now with some markets bringing streaming in, that may not hold up. We'll see. I think both sides want to bring it back. They just have to find a deal to do it. When is Charge coming to YouTube TV? Are they still going to get MLB? Dude, no idea on MLB or NHL Network. No idea. Charge coming in June. Last I heard. Do you think one of the Discovery will show us the new interface? It'll be interesting. Well, we saw some images of the YouTube TV tweeted something about in date. It's just a promo for the Sunday ticket. So They showed us some images of it during the press announcement, but I don't expect that new user interface to come until the launch date on May 23rd. All right. Those of us that have T-Mobile home internet have MLB Pass. Are you talking about the yearly? Is it always free with the home internet, or are you talking about the every year MLB.TV offers the deal through to T-Mobile subscribers for a free year if you're a T-Mobile subscriber? Honestly, Edward, you may be right, because Fubo offers mini RSNs and MLB Network, but they're expensive. It's why it's significantly more expensive, because they added that $15 up to $15 or something like that RSN fee. Keep that in mind. What's my favorite Mario game? That one is tough. Of course, you gotta get the classic Super Mario Bros. 3. I grew up on the Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. Love those. I really do like Sunshine, but the new Super Mario Brothers Wii game, the new one, the 2D side scrollers, I thought that was excellently well done. Really nice, nicely done there. So I love that. Robert, you're right. If you just want MLB Network, you don't care about your RSN, you may want to maybe get your RSN streaming service plus Sling TV cheaper than YouTube TV to get that. Part of me wishes Verizon would buy Comcast's stake in Hulu. I know Comcast is getting more invested in their joint venture with Charter for Xumo, which will feel like a Hulu competitor. It could be. It's interesting to see what happens here. We'll have to keep a close eye on what happens to Hulu in the next year. Will Disney sell it off? Will they complete their purchase? Comcast has the ability to force them to complete their purchase. We'll see how it all goes on. You're right. So Fubo used to not have ESPN. They added ESPN, but then dropped Turner. And it seems like it was kind of one of those deals that they could only afford one or the other. So they decided, hey, ESPN was more important than the Turner channels. And sports fans, take that. Again, everybody wants to have all these channels, but they remember, the more channels you add, the more expensive it's going to get. So keep that in mind. All right. My girlfriend turned me on to Desperate Housewives, all 8 seasons on Hulu. All right, here's a question for everybody. What random old show are you watching? We watch King of the Hill all the time in our house. Almost every night, King of the Hill comes. I'm so excited for the reboot of King of the Hill. My wife is over the moon. It's her favorite show ever. Do I know how the ads are on Netflix ad plan? Not bad. It is. It's like pretty much all those ad plans, though. It's ads. Sometimes well placed, sometimes kind of randomly placed, but it's not bad. I mean, for the price, it is what it is. Here we go. This is one I meant. Fubo adds a lot of free channels that can be found in free apps. A lot of cable networks are starting to do that. That they're starting to stack up, say cable service, even cable companies. Comcast is doing this now. We're putting a lot of channels in their service. They're just kind of like, we want to say we have all these channels. So it's not something exclusive to Fubo. Beavis and Butthead. Anybody seen the new season of Beavis and Butthead? Worth it? Live up to the classic realm? Leave me a comment, let me know. Murder, She Wrote. There's a classic one. I'm getting allergy shots, and they often are showing Golden Girls. And now as a kid, I hated Golden Girls. I hated my mom watch that. Now as an adult, I'm really been enjoying the Golden Girls as I would sit in the lobby, because you have to sit there for like 20 minutes after your shot. So yeah, so there's one. Lost in Space is my favorite on Hulu. New, so that must be the original. The new one's not bad though. I have not seen season 2 of the new one. Three Stooges, there's a classic. Free channels, yeah, tons of free channels. On YouTube TV, they claim to be South Dakota Public TV. It's actually a West. Interesting. They must have permission from that. Some of these places have decided to just do a national feed rather than offering their local feeds. And sometimes actually what happens with PBS is they have a local feed, but then some local programming does not have streaming rights. So for that specific program, they will replace it with a national feed, for example, with that. So just because it's national where you are, or for them, doesn't mean the whole thing's national. Oh, here's a great classic show, Space 1999. I enjoyed that. One classic show that I've had a lot of fun watching on Pluto, I think it's on a few others, is the original 1950s Dragnet. Love that show. I even have the radio dramas. I bought them on Audible for a credit. It was worth it. But the 1950s black and white version, not the earlier one. All right, so see if maybe this microphone helps now. I reset the microphone again. But yes, there's so many good ones out there. Luke, I have Vizio. What do you think of SmartCast? SmartCast is not bad. I still think Chromecast is better with it. Apple AirPlay, but SmartCast works pretty well. Vizio TVs are not a bad option. Adam 12 and Perry Mason. There's some more good classic ones. Here we go. Can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned Star Trek theme. All right. Let's do a quick non-cord cutting question. What national fast food chain has the best milkshakes? All right, go. National chains only, because the best of all of them is a regional chain here in Michigan called Mr. Burger. And if you're ever in the greater Grand Rapids, Michigan area, they have like 6 or 8 locations, something like that. If you ever find it there, Mr. Burger has the best. So, non-cord cutting question of the day. Who has, of all national chains, national only, who has the best? I'm seeing Steak and Shake. I'm seeing Culver's, Chick-fil-A coming out there. Rebecca, hey, everybody say hi to our COO, Rebecca. She is our does all the back end stuff. She also does some posts every now and then, but if you ever get the newsletter or any of that, she does all that stuff. So say hi to Rebecca too. All right, Dairy Queen, Whataburger. Actually, Whataburger, very good. It's kind of maybe a good thing I moved away from Whataburger. I got their sweet and spicy bacon cheeseburger way too often. Way too often for that. Dairy Queen, Sonic. You guys like Sonic? All right, I'll have to give them a try on that. Taco Bell for milkshakes? Does Taco Bell have milkshakes? All right, I have to know. Somebody help me. Does Taco Bell have milkshakes? Or are you just pulling my... Did I just like miss this? Somebody, am I getting my leg pulled here? Let me know. Yeah, I'm seeing a surprising number of people for Whataburger, and I kind of agree. Whataburger is an excellent milkshake out there. Where's a good place to find DVDs? Local flea markets, honestly. Garage sales. eBay is probably the best for specific ones. But you may want to check like Goodwill. Goodwill's not what they used to be. Goodwill is kind of expensive compared to what they used to be, and they're a lot more selective in what they put. It used to be like a thrift store, and now it's becoming more of a higher end store. Whatever works for them. Taco Bell has slushies. Okay. Do we consider slushies acceptable, or are we going milkshakes only here? Let me know, folks. What's your rules? I'm seeing a lot of Sonic, a lot of Whataburger. What I'm kind of interested in, no one has said McDonald's. And I actually, if it's working, the McDonald's milkshake is actually not bad. I actually like it with the fries. And here's the question. Frosties. Where do they come in here? Can we consider a Frosty a milkshake? Or is that not a milkshake? I don't know. All right, had some fun there. It's been fun. Do I love Blockbusters growing up? So I'm actually grew up where Video Time or Video Master, something like that, was the local chain here that Blockbuster eventually bought. The guy who owned them, they had like 8 locations around my town. And the guy who owned it lived in my neighborhood. And what I loved about going Halloween is we would go to his house and he would have coupons for all the kids. That would be 1 free children's movie rental. And then it wasn't even like you had to get an adult movie rental, but you could go and rent a children's movie. Or I think even later, right before he did it, you could go also get like an NES game rented there. And he was a really nice guy. And whenever we go in, he would always see us because he knew it. He lived down the street. He would always give us a big bag of popcorn for free too. He'd always be like, "Here's it." He was just a really nice guy. And he sold a Blockbuster. I'm sure did really well. I think he moved to Florida or something. But either Video Time or Video Master or something like that. And it was partnered by Blockbuster. It was still good. I enjoyed it, but I will never forget the old Video Time Video Master, mostly because the video game section was huge in it. And that's what I mostly wanted. I wanted to go rent something for my NES back then. All right, let's get back to some cord cutting talk. How do you see 3.0 playing out with devices and how soon it will be out? Well, 3.0 is already out now in over half the country. Will streaming services add subchannels with 3.0? We're already seeing new subchannels added, so I would say both are happening. Both will happen. We'll just keep growing, keep going out there. What was everybody's first video game system? Well, a neighbor had a Atari, but mine was the NES. That was my first one. Atari 2600 I played first, but I didn't own it. So Nintendo NES was mine. Speaking of RSNs, get ready to see them use syndication services down the road. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what RSNs look like in a year. It's definitely going to be very different, that's for sure. Am I happy to see the end of dial-up? Yes, but there's still people who previously that was all they had. There are people who just that was all they had. But now with SpaceX, yeah, dial-up is a thing of the past. All right, I'm seeing a lot of people say the Jaguar. There's a cool one. Atari NES, 2600, Pong, an old Pong system. I had a friend that had an old Pong system. I didn't really appreciate what it was at the time. Game Boy, NES. My very first game I ever played on the NES was Tiger Heli. So my parents got us an NES and got us 2 games. It was the Mario Duck Hunt combo, and then it was Tiger Heli, which was a shoot 'em game where you're a helicopter flying through. My brother got to play it first, and he played Mario. And then they're like, let's try the other game. Let Luke try it. And I got to play Tiger Heli first. So there you go. Are baseball teams own? Do some baseball teams own their own RSNs? Yes, there are a handful of baseball teams that do own RSNs. There are talk of the Astros and the Rockets in Houston buying AT&T Sports Southwest. But the majority of baseball teams do not own their own RSN, and they partner with either like AT&T Sportsnet, with Bally Sports, etc. to do that. Oh yes, let's not forget about the Commodore 64. There's a great one. Sega Master System. I had a friend who had that. The same friend who had the Atari 2600 got a Master System instead of NES. So when I would go to his house, we would play the Master System. When he would come to my house, it was NES. I am still with you, Edwards. I'm a majority PC gamer. Why don't all the commercials play during commercial breaks? Well, because certain commercial breaks are sold to the cable. So some commercial, in a commercial block, so many will be set aside for the network. So whatever network you're watching gets to sell so many. And then the cable company gets to sell so many. And sometimes, like on YouTube TV, they air different ones. So the length may be different. And that's why sometimes on YouTube TV you get that little zen moment where it's like 5, 10, 15 seconds with it. And then it goes. But yeah, so some smaller cable channels allow cable networks to have a bigger block. Network TV, for example, gives cable channels a smaller block. So it really depends on where that is. All right, here's a great question. About 10 minutes and I'm going to wrap it up. 10-minute warning. How do you get started in cord cutting? How did I get started? What brought me to it? Well, my wife and I, we had a child who's now 10, which is kind of weird thinking about. But we had student loans, car payments, all kinds of stuff happening out there that was money. And we were kind of looking through our bill. Of course, we cut back in eating out, and we cut back in this, and we cut back in that. And we looked through it, and it was always that $115, $120 direct TV bill. Just for the TV, not for internet, none of that. We got our internet somewhere else. That kept coming up. And eventually we bought an old Roku HD. That's how old this is, a Roku HD. And then for Christmas that year, we got a Roku 2 really cheap. So we had a Roku HD in the bedroom and a Roku 2 in the living room. And we just had Netflix, Hulu. And that was like it. And Amazon Prime. Those were the 3 services we had. This was before Sling TV, before PlayStation Vue. There was no live TV services. So we did that for quite some time. And I started getting active online in the cord cutting community as it was. It was very, very tiny. And then I kind of was like, I should, let me create what became Cord Cutters News so I could talk about cord cutting, maybe help people. And here we are today. That's how it happened. We had a kid. Money was tight. And now we are here today. Now there are more Americans as cord cutters than there are as cable TV subscribers. No, as a person, how do you get started? My recommendation, just start streaming stuff. What we did is we just started streaming. The great thing about most streaming services is they offer a free trial. You're able to go test it out, and you're able to go and see if it's right for you. Take advantage of the different ones. All these services offer free trials. Just make sure to cancel before the free trial's over, or we'll bill you. But test it out. See if it works for you before you cancel cable. And then if you discover if you like it, you can always cancel then. So just my recommendation, just get started streaming, test out different things, see what works for you, and see if it's right for you. That's the great thing about cord cutting. Cable says, hey, you want to try our service? Sign a multi-year contract right now. Cord cutting says, you want to try what we do? Hey, give it a try. Cancel if you don't like it. No contract. Even if you pay for a month, you can always cancel it then. So keep that in mind. Oh, yes. Actually, you know what? I don't remember watching the national anthem at night because my parents never let me stay up that late. I do remember waking up early and sitting there being like, hey, seeing the test pattern and just waiting for the test pattern to come to an end so that the local Fox or wherever it was affiliate would start playing stuff. So I do remember that more than the national anthem. I always like watching Cord Cutters News. The way you present is top-notch. Well, thank you so much. I know we're not flashy. There isn't a ton of crazy graphics and different things we do here, but I really do appreciate the support. It is interesting, NYC, WWE kind of pushed the envelope and kind of broke ground. You think about things that broke ground in the world of streaming and cord cutting. Netflix, you have to give it to them. Hulu and Amazon too. Sling TV with their live TV streaming service was huge. It broke the glass wall, made it a reality, and said, hey, we're looking forward. Dish, wherever you think of them, is a very forward-thinking company out there. And then WWE, major sports network, going streaming. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, I see some people asking how old Cord Cutters News is. Cord Cutters News just turned 9 years old. It's been 9 years since we've done this. Here's a great, was my old cable or broadcast? I think one channel still did black and white, but most of the channels when I was a kid were color patterns with it. Thank you so much. The great thing about this, there's a lot of websites that cover cord cutting, right? It's a great thing about cord cutting is there's options. I like to think that we're the best, but, we may not get every story or maybe have every helpful answer, but I think it's great that there's so many options out there. So, all right, let's kind of wrap this up. I've been at work since 7 a.m. I made some posts. I drove to work, found out my computer was dead, bolted back home as fast as I could, and I've worked from home all day. I'm going to wrap this up a few minutes early. It's been an absolutely long day. I really want to say thank you to everybody for your support. If you're just randomly finding this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. If you came late, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, or 8 p.m. That's the old time. 7 p.m. Eastern now with that. And I do understand that's a little early. Please understand, I have young children. I have another child since I last owned Cord Cutters News. And So I really do appreciate everybody's support with it all. And I really do appreciate your loving, kind words. If you need more help, if I did not for whatever reason answer any of your cord cutting related questions, I am dropping in the chat a link to our Facebook group. We have a Facebook cord cutting tech support group. There's over 80,000 people on it. You can post a question there. They'll be happy to answer your questions. I also share stories in there. It's a very active place to go. And lastly, one other thing, if you could, let me find out where did that link go. All right, let me just go here and grab the cord cutters. We have another YouTube channel, and I'm trying to get that YouTube channel to 20,000 subscribers. I just put a link into it to the Breakdown with Luke. It's a general tech review channel. It's got 825 videos. It's got 18,000 subscribers. It reviews all kinds of stuff, gives helpful hints and like how to call Amazon's customer service on the phone and more. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We just hit 18,000. I'd love to maybe into May, maybe into June, hit 20,000. I would really appreciate your support with that. Check it out. Really would appreciate it. Hope I get the sound fixed. You know, one of the things I need to do is I'm gonna get a new cord. I think it's this cord, and I meant to buy a new cord. Check it out. Really would. And I will buy a new cord this week. It's been a very busy week, so I will order that there. I am not on Rumble. We'll look at it. I've looked at it. It's a time thing right now. There's a lot I want to do with YouTube, including launching another YouTube channel to do more here. But for now, as we do some things, I'm going to do our best to just keep things going. Anyway, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I really appreciate it. It probably be close to the cost of that cable I need. All right, everybody, have a great night. Barb, thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you for being a member of the cord cutting club. Those $5 every month really does help. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Be safe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.